We begin a new unit today, and we're going to start working with rational expressions. A rational expression we're going to define as a fraction that has a variable in the numerator or the denominator or both. And for right now, we're also particularly interested in situations where there's a monomial in the denominator. And remember, a monomial we defined earlier as a constant, a variable, or the product of these two things. It's important to keep in mind that we're only dealing with multiplication with a monomial. There's no addition or subtraction involved. And so before we get further into rational expressions, we want to think about, is it necessary sometime to simplify them before we can deal with them further? And in order to do this, it's not a super complicated, challenging prospect if we remember what we did to be able to simplify fractions. So let's remind ourselves, if we were to simplify a fraction like 25 over 40, what would you do to go ahead and try and simplify this fraction? And eventually you might remember that we divided the numerator and denominator by the same number. We recognize, for instance, that 24 and 40 are both even numbers, so they divide by 2. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 40 divided by 2 is 20. If I divide numerator and denominator by the same number, I'll have an equivalent fraction. But we recognize that 12 over 20 can be simplified. Those are both even numbers as well. What if we started with 4? 24 divided by 4 is 6. 40 divided by 4 is 10. But we can go farther than 6 over 10. 24 and 40 also have a common factor of 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 40 divided by 8 is 5. And so now we've reduced this fraction to its simplest terms. So what I'd like you to do now, if you're in class or with another algebra student, you can discuss this out. If you're at home, you can think this through on your own as well. How would you explain in your own words how to simplify a fraction? And what I'd like you to do is, after you've sat down and thought about this, go ahead and click the link to the Padlet that I've set up, and go ahead and enter your thoughts there so we can kind of crowdsource some thoughts about how to simplify fractions. And after you've sat and done this, you've probably come up with two main points: that we need to identify common factors and then divide the numerator and denominator by that common factor. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. Our first one, 15b over 25b squared. And we're going to go ahead and expand these out into their prime factorization. 15 is 3 times 5, and then times b. 25 is 5 squared. And then I have b squared, which is b times b. Well, we can see that we can remove a common factor of b in the numerator and denominator. B divided by b is 1. I can ignore the factor of 1. Similarly, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I'm left with in the numerator a factor of 3. In the denominator, 5 times b. Let's look at a second. Now I've got a polynomial, 4x squared plus x. And so I want to think about this as the distributive property in reverse. I've got a common factor of x in this expression. So if I divide 4x squared by x, I'm left with 4x. X divided by x is 1. So x times 4x plus 1 over x to the third. So I can think about being able to identify a factor of x in the numerator. I've got 3 factors of x in the denominator. So I can divide out one of those. So 4x plus 1 over x squared. Super important to recognize here that I can't go any farther than this. Even though I see an x, and then there's x's in the denominator, because there's 4x plus 1, I have 2 terms here. I can't go inside of this term and cancel this. It's a little bit like if we took 66 over 63 and said we were going to simplify this into 60 plus 6 and 60 plus 3, and then saying, oh, we can cancel the 60s, right? And this is 6 over 3 equals 2. Right? Well, 66 over 63 is obviously not equal to 2. You can't do that. So we're going to remind ourselves that we can't do that here with this x and the x squared, because we have to think about this as being contained within a factor. Let's take a look at another example. 12c squared over 3c plus 6. Well, this one's different because it's got that polynomial in the denominator, but our approach can be the same. If we can factor out a common factor, we can go ahead and simplify this. So let's do that. 12c squared, 2 times 2 times 3 times c. In the denominator, I can't factor out a c here, but 3 is a factor of 3 and 3 is a factor of 6. So 6 divided by 3 leaves 2. So I can see now that I have a factor of 3 that I can divide out. In the numerator, 2 times 2, c times c, 4c squared. The denominator, c plus 2. And if you're tempted to try to cancel those c's, remind yourself again, you can't go inside of the polynomial and take just one term out. We have to leave the c plus 2 by itself. Some more challenging type of rational expressions come when we are not just factoring out a greatest common factor, but we find ourselves trying to factor a quadratic. For instance, x squared minus x minus 20. So I look at these two, and I'm going to try to factor the numerator and the denominator. The numerator I can factor out a greatest common factor. 3 is a factor of 3 and a factor of 12. I have 3 times x plus 3 times 4, so my common factor is 3. My remaining polynomial factor is x plus 4. Now in my denominator, we practiced this before we left out for the long weekend. X squared minus x minus 20. It's a little bit of a number game, right? I need two numbers that multiply together to make 20. They're opposite signs, so x plus x minus, and when I subtract them I get 1. And negative 1, in fact. So that means that the larger number is negative. So two numbers that multiply to make 20 that are one number apart, well, that's 5 and 4. X minus 5, x plus 4. Now that I've factored these, I can see that the full factor of x plus 4 exists in the numerator and denominator. I can divide those out. And I'm left with a factor of 3 in the numerator and x minus 5 in the denominator. Some more problems that we can practice together, a couple of each type. If you want to try these on your own, pause the video, come back and check your work with me afterwards. Not a bad idea. So 4m minus 2. Well, that's 2 times m minus 2. So in the denominator, I can factor out a 2, and I'm left with 2m minus 1, 2m minus 1. Now, those factors can be divided out. I'm left with just 2 in the numerator, and in the denominator, what happens here? I had 2m minus 1, and remember I'm dividing numerator and denominator by the same thing. 2m minus 1 divided by 2m minus 1 is just 1. So I have 2 over 1, which is equal to 2. Let's look at this one. X minus 4 over 4 minus x. The temptation to try to cancel everything here, but we know we can't go inside the terms to cancel. They look really similar. X minus 4, 4 minus x. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to factor out a negative 1 from these. Negative 4, positive 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. Negative x divided by negative 1 is positive x. So when these were reversed in the order, I was able to factor out a negative 1 and have a common factor. So let's see what happens here. I can divide numerator and denominator by x minus 4. In the numerator, I've factored out every factor that there is, so I'm left with a factor of 1 over negative 1, which is equal to negative 1. Let's look at number 7. I can see that these are both quadratic trinomials. They're both going to be factored down into two binomial factors. Don't fall into that trap where you see the 6 and the 6 and you think you can cancel these out, or the c and the c squared. All right? It's not going to work that way. When you see these trinomial factors, or a quadratic of any type, you need to go in and factor them. So c squared minus 6, minus c minus 6, right? Opposite signs, two factors of 6, that when I subtract I get 1. That's going to be 3 and 2, and because it's negative c, negative 3, positive 2. In the denominator, two factors of 6 that add up to 5, and that's going to be 3 and 2, and they're both positive. So look what happened here. My factor of c plus 2, I can divide out c minus 3 over c plus 3. Remember, these are factors. They don't show parentheses, but I can think of them as being in parentheses. And that kind of reminds me that I can't go in and factor out either the c or the 3. One more, similarly, 4x minus 20. That's 4 times x, 4 times 5. I can see I've got a common factor of 4, so let's factor that out. What remains? X minus 5. In the denominator, it's a quadratic. Two factors of 20 that add up to negative 9, so both signs are the same, and they're both negative. 5 and 4. So where are my common factors here? Looking at how this is factored out, I have an x minus 5 in the numerator, x minus 5 in the denominator. I can divide numerator and denominator by that same x minus 5 factor. Go ahead and pause the video now, and you can go ahead and practice these on your own, very similar to the ones that we've already done, and then come back and check your work. So quickly, you can check your work as you take a look at number 10, number 11, reminder that x squared minus 81, difference of two squares. X squared is a perfect square, 81 is a perfect square. A minus sign in between, so it's x plus 9, x minus 9. C squared minus 1 would be a difference of two squares, but the entire expression is able to be divided out. (14) I think was pretty straightforward, and 15, remember, with that leading coefficient of 2, we mentally multiplied 2 times 2 and got 4, and thought about two factors of 4 that make 5, and that was 4 times 1. So we split the 5a into 1a plus 4a. Factored from there, we were able to factor out the a plus 2. So go ahead and take just a couple of minutes to summarize your notes. Think about 3 things that you learned today from working through these exercises, 2 things that you found out about today that you want to know more about or extend out, and 1 big question that you still have. And if you're the type of person who takes notes by drawing connections, graphic organizers, sketches, you can use that space at the bottom of the page to do that.